Welcome to Real Estate Talk with your host, Ken Sax. This show is created for you, the consumer. Our goal is to empower you with information and education, thereby giving you the tools needed to make informed decisions when it comes to real estate. Real Estate Talk is brought to you in part by the Spokane Association of Realtors. Here's your host, Ken.
Well, hello, folks. I am Ken Sax. You are listening to Real Estate Talks once again. And today, my guest, we have a lender in the house, Drew Henry with Movement Mortgage. Welcome, Drew.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. And what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about something, I don't know how long they've been around, Drew. You can answer that. But we're going to talk about renovation loans and how that might apply to you, buyers, but also the advantages that a seller would have having buyers with such an option as a renovation loan. So how does that sound?
So yeah, renovation home loans have been around since the 70s,
okay.
Actually.
I'm glad we're now doing a show on it, Drew.
It's about time. You know, we live in this culture, right? This HGTV,
oh, yeah.
Chip and Joanna culture of I want to find a house in the perfect neighborhood and I want to make it my own. Well, now you can. It is something we're bringing to the Spokane market, which is a great market for it. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You can find a house, you want to knock out a wall, put in a brand new kitchen. You can now finance that into the mortgage. It's one mortgage. It's not a second loan. We'll get into some of the more of the specifics.
Okay.
But it's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, and you know, in today's environment, not only here locally in Spokane, but across the country, where all we've been hearing about are shortages with inventory. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, some areas there's more of a shortage, but pretty much the common trend is there's a inventory shortage, folks. So options are good. And when we have options like this, that as a buyer, maybe instead of looking at, you know, just these properties, maybe with renovation loans and the ability to finance those costs, maybe now I have a much wider fishing net and I can look at and decide among more properties than I would have normally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just a key thing to have, period, but very timely in this market.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a mortgage is the biggest purchase most people make in their whole life. So you should be picky. You know, you're going to go in and say, you know, we just can't live with the orange carpet and the green walls. There's not one thing that we
those are coming back though. I hear.
Sorry.
Okay.
There's not one thing that we couldn't actually do in one of these renovation home loans. So if there's something that you walk in, you say we like it, it's got good bones, but we just can't live with that. There's not one item that a house could have wrong with it that we couldn't get over and have a contractor come in and fix.
Okay, good. Well, let's talk about that a little deeper here. So I'm a buyer, and well, it was Drew, was how you approached me with this. I was working with a buyer, and we're looking at homes in a certain price range, and before we can decide whether or not we want to write an offer, 4 offers had already been submitted. So that was when you came to me and said, well, here's an idea with a renovation loan. We could look at another category of properties in a different price range with the intent of just doing kind of an all-in-one type of loan where we finance in the repairs. So as a buyer, you know, what do I need to know? How do I know if that's viable for me?
Yeah, I mean, you find that dialed house in this market, and yeah, there's maybe 10 offers in the first few days because it's just dialed. Well, those homes that need a little bit of work, that maybe you need a little bit of vision, they may not have any offers. They may have been on the market for 30, 60, 90 days. Nobody's going to look at those. Well, if you can have that vision, we can go look at homes that are even cash-only options, because the reason those homes are listed as a cash-only is they have issues.
Right.
Maybe it's a leaky roof or a foundation problem. Those are things that can be fixed and remedied with this property. So as a buyer, this is opening up a whole new realm of homes that weren't available before.
Yeah, when it says cash-only, just so you understand, folks, why is the seller saying cash-only? and they're saying cash only, what Drew's getting at is there's not going to be a lender who's going to lend on that property because there's significant issues, deferred maintenance and other significant issues that the lender sends out the appraiser, and the appraiser says, "Are you kidding me? We can't loan on this house." So the seller says, "Hey, I'll only accept cash offers," because the seller knows it will never get funded until today.
Yep.
Now there's an option.
Well, and to kind of get into that appraisal problem there, we're no longer depending on the appraiser to come out and say that this house is financeable, because what we're doing is we're taking the as-is condition, we're taking the bid from the contractor, and they're now appraising the future property fixed. So whether that is a new kitchen, or maybe we're finishing a basement. How many finished square feet did we just add on?
Sure.
We're changing our comps in terms of the other homes that are out there that the house is being compared to in the appraisal. So we're not waiting on an appraiser any longer to say, yeah, we need to fix this, this, and this before we can finance this home. We're now closing, having the work happen after closing, and then the appraiser is just coming back to make sure the work's been done.
Good. And it's a new basement.
Exactly.
It's not a basement that was finished 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Or unfinished.
So this is sounding quite labor intensive. I'm putting my buyer hat on, and I'm envisioning my weekends on the phones, calling contractors and people to finish basements, or flooring guys, getting 3 bids for each thing I want done. And going online to check that they're licensed and insured and they have the bond. I mean, come on, really? I get what you're saying. It sounds nice, but who has time for that?
We're getting to the point where there's a reason we haven't talked about this since the 70s.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, up until recently, these types of loans required sometimes 3 to 5 bids from a contractor, it's insane. To get 3 to 5 people to come out, it's just not going to happen. Well, we only need 1 bid. We need 1 bid from a licensed and bonded contractor. We have the contractors. Obviously, the buyer is welcome to go and bring in their own if they're licensed and bonded. But we have the contractors that we work with that have a relationship with us and Movement Mortgage here in Spokane. And it stresses the importance of working with a realtor who has those connections as well.
Sure.
Because these contractors, they kind of work for us. You're not having to go out there and figure all this out on your own.
Okay, so I'm still sniffing around for a catch here. Like these contractors, let me guess, are they charging 25% margins instead of 12%? I mean, where you have these relationships with these contractors, I mean, is it really that easy if I'm a buyer?
It's that easy. On the contractor side, they're going to give you a bid just like if you were bringing them in and paying cash for it.
A competitive bid.
A competitive bid. And you don't have to accept it. You can get as many bids as you'd like until you get one that works. One of the really great things is not everything that you're going to do to the house is going to add value. So a question that comes up a lot is, what if I'm knocking out a wall and adding new appliances? We have to get dollar for dollar the appraised amount. Well, not true. In an FHA 203K loan, which is the most common one of these, we can actually go to 110% loan to value. So to break that down, if we were buying a $200,000 house, we could actually loan up to $220,000 on that property. That just doesn't exist in today's world, where you can, borrow more than the house is worth.
Especially post-recession.
Post-recession, correct.
Yeah.
So this is now an option to do that. Another thing that comes up a lot is I must have to put 15-20% down.
Right.
Not true. On a 203K loan, 3.5% down from the borrower or a gift. We can go conventional with 5% down, and we'll get into it in a minute. But VA now has a loan that's a renovation home loan with no money out of pocket. So for you to be able to borrow, say, $30,000, $35,000 to do repairs on a home and not have to put a penny down on it, it's insane.
That is insane. And sellers out there, I want to take you back to something Drew said. It may not have anything to do with this show, but it's important to remember. The improvements you make to a home does not necessarily increase its value. Do you know how many times I had that conversation with sellers?
You're going to get me in trouble.
No, we need to understand that, right? I mean, I always ask, how important is honesty to you as a client? on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, of course it's a 10, right? So if we agree, client, that honesty is a 10, most important thing to you, would you also agree there's going to be things I'm going to say that you may not like, may not make you feel comfortable, but I'm being honest, and that's what you want. So remember, sellers, everything you do to a house, think about the value it gave you and the enjoyment and pleasure it gave you, but it's not necessarily going to add on to the value when it's time to sell. I had to go there, sorry, because it's a very important point. I love how the VA option, we can utilize that with zero money down. I absolutely love that for our vets out there. Okay. This must be only for my primary residence.
So yeah, you can buy it as, if you're going to live in it, it can be your primary residence.
Okay.
We can do a second home. So if it's going to be a vacation home, a second home will work with 10% down. You can actually do an investment property on these. So 15% down, which is really low for an investment property.
That's low for an investment property.
Say you and 3 other friends want to get in on it. Up to 4 investors can go in on one of these with 15% down. And we can do 75% of what the unimproved value is. So $100,000 house, you could do $75,000 in renovations on top of that. You know, $200,000 house, you could do a $150,000 renovation. But investment properties are an option as well.
Good grief. I am getting the wave here from our producer that we are going to be rolling into our 1-minute break. I am talking to Drew Henry with Movement Mortgage, and we're talking about renovation home loans. And I'm loving what I'm hearing, and I hope you are too. So stay with us. We're going to take a 1-minute break. Ken Sax, Real Estate Talks. We'll be right back at you.
Well, this is nice.
Yeah.
That's real Brazilian walnut.
Yeah.
We know.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
Hello there, Internet. My name is Brandon Magruder, and I'm just coming out of the Spokane Talks building, and I'm excited to bring to you guys a new announcement that I am going to be the new host of the Youth Spotlight program. Now, our old host, Colin, he's off to Texas Christian University to pursue a degree in theater and broadcasting, and you know what? That's great for him, but that's what I like to call adulting. And you know, I don't think that we have time for adulting with the Youth Spotlight program. What the Youth Spotlight program is here to do is to bring to you guys news, the greatest news of some of the most amazing people here throughout Spokane that are, just going in high school, maybe about to go into college, you know. These people are achieving life streams and they are so young. And I think that these are stories that you guys should know about. And I'm so excited to be bringing them to you. Now, I'm a Spokane native myself. I've been performing throughout Spokane in various different shows. I just closed the show of Music Man, and you know, I guess I like long walks on the beach, keeping my business attire, while also keeping my French fry socks on close at hand. You know, it's going to be a great year, and I'm so excited to be your guys' host. So tune into Youth Spotlight to watch me interview some of the most amazing people. Thank you and have a great day.
Welcome back. I am Ken Sax. You're listening to Real Estate Talks. And my guest, Drew Henry with Movement Mortgage, and we are talking about renovation loans. And some of this information has frankly blown me away, Drew, to where we can, as a buyer, we can now look at more opportunities to buy in this day of a low inventory, to where we can finance in renovation costs to our loan and get new stuff when we buy our house. And so this is Drew says it's been around since the 70s, but it sounds like there's been a lot of improvements on the process and the loan package itself to make it more palatable today. So, you know, this all sounds really good, but of course, the pessimist in me, I'm thinking, okay, what are the rates? What's the fine print? How much interest? How much more interest am I paying? My credit score. Like, you have to have perfect credit score probably to get this type of loan package. I mean, come on. Let's just lay it on me.
So to touch on, so we have a conventional, we have an FHA, and we have a VA product. All three of those products are going to be underwritten to the exact same guidelines as one of these loans without the renovation, meaning same credit score qualifications, same everything, same rate. The rate's not going to be higher because it's a renovation.
I'm not paying more.
You know, obviously, anytime we do an investment property is going to carry a higher rate than if you're going to live in it. But it's going to be the exact same as if we weren't doing the renovations. And, you know, a lot of people think these renovation home loans are only for houses that have issues. Not the case. You might walk into a place and just say, you know what, I just have to have that subway tile and those granite countertops, and I have to have those stainless steel appliances. You know, that can be done as well. No minimum either. No minimum on the work.
To where I really could just finish the basement just because I want to. I need the extra space.
We have buyers moving up from Arizona, and they say, Ken, I have to have a swimming pool. And you look and you say, well, there's 2 in the whole MLS or whatever. We could add a swimming pool if we needed to any house. That could be.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so we're not paying more in interest. I don't have to have perfect credit score. It's the same guidelines as other loans. But let's go back to, so that's good because I would have to see that really to believe it, but hearing it from you is the same as seeing it. Let's go back to this VA thing. I really like the idea of this opportunity for VA borrowers to, one, where we know they could get a loan with 0 down, but they can also use this product and it's also 0 down.
Yeah, it's a brand new product from the VA. This Renovation Home Loans is a new VA product, and I love it because really there's no reason that if you're a veteran, you have your VA eligibility, there's no reason to get qualified for this loan up front versus a traditional VA loan. And the reason for that is, if you don't know, a VA loan on an appraisal is going to carry stricter guidelines from the appraiser that, you know, it has to have a handrail going up the steps. It can't have any tripping hazards.
Right.
Lead-based paints, that comes up a lot.
Right.
So we pre-qualify you or pre-approve you as a renovation VA loan. Okay, maybe you find a place and it needs nothing, and that's fine. We can always switch it back. But, you know, we get into the inspection and there's problems. We get into the appraisal and there's problems. You know, maybe this house has a backup offer and it's perfect and you don't want to lose out. Well, we can now finance up to $35,000 in repairs in one of these VA loans. So yeah, you could still do new kitchen, new appliances, all that stuff, but you know, VA loans, there's going to be things more than likely that come up in the appraisal that they're going to want fixed.
Sure.
And what I think of too is we're coming up on winter, and let's say that the appraiser wants the house to be repainted. Well, we're not painting in January. This allows us to close on time. We close in 30 days. And the house closes, the seller gets paid, you move into your new house. We have 120 days to get painters out to paint this house. So we're now in April or May for them to come out, and then the appraiser sees that the work's been done and we're finished. So we're no longer waiting on or having realtors go out and paint the house with maybe a hairdryer, right, to make sure it can close on time. It's huge.
Wow, that's great. I mean, anything that enables people to buy homes, close on homes, and just keep that economy going is really a good thing. So I love that. Okay, so we talked about veterans and the ability for a veteran to take advantage of this product. And we talked about, as a buyer, of course, there are advantages for a buyer, more to choose from. And I mean, we kind of touched on sellers, but now I'm a seller. Anything I need to know as a seller or advantages that I'm not thinking about as a seller?
Yeah, if you're thinking of listing your home, or maybe your home's currently listed and your realtor is not offering this type of loan to prospective buyers, we're missing out on a whole funnel of people that aren't viewing your property. And what this does is this opens up a lot of people who maybe would not have an interest because maybe it has to have that finished basement. Maybe you own a house that has an unfinished basement and this family needs an extra 2 bedrooms. Well, we open this up to renovation financing. Keep in mind, again, that the work happens after you move out. You don't have to deal with any of the construction. It's going to be a zero different process to you as a seller. But what we're doing is we're bringing more buyers to the table, which we all know the more buyers we can bring, that helps us with what we're asking and our selling price. So why not open it up to people who wouldn't normally look at your house who can now make it their own?
That's right. The more people that see your sellers, I'm talking to you, the more people that see your house, that's going to mean you're going to get more money in a shorter amount of time. I mean, that's what we do, right? As realtors, is we expose the heck out of your house more than the red and white for sale by owner sign you buy at Home Depot, where the same 5 people driving to and from work every day see your house. So
some of the things that we're seeing that are working is realtors are bringing what they call vision boards, and they're placing it on the kitchen counter. So that vision board has a sample of flooring. It's got backsplash. It's got paint that buyers walk in for a showing and they go, wow, okay, I like it. They go straight to it and they see, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I could see what this place could look like. So that's a great marketing tool that realtors are offering.
It's like a design center for new construction. You walk in the design center and there's all your options.
Exactly.
All your upgrades. That's good. And then something I just thought of on a house that I'm selling, could I use this product to put a shop in?
Yeah, so appraisers don't like the word shop. You can put a garage in.
Okay.
When an appraiser,
so a big garage?
Yes. When an appraiser hears shop, they think that you're working out of it. You know, you're going to be doing people's oil out of it. So you could do a garage. The garage could even have a living quarters in it if we needed to add like an apartment up above. That'd be fine. Wow. But yeah, it could have a large garage attached. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because shops in the Northwest, everybody works out of them. Nobody has boats or RVs or anything else here in the Northwest. They all work out of the shops. Okay. So good. Gosh, to be able to do a big garage on a home that otherwise doesn't have one, that's just because that was the feedback I got on this listing before I sold it was, well, there's no shop. Well, you can put a shop in. Well, now you really can, and you can finance it through.
And that's a drastic example of what a renovation can do. One other is find a piece of land that has a really old house on it with an existing foundation. Maybe it's a $100,000 for 10 acres, but just an uninhabitable house.
Right.
We could take the house down to the foundation. We could even expand on that foundation and build back up. That could be included in a renovation home loan. As long you can't put a new foundation. Okay. You got to build off the old one. Go as tall as you want. But yeah.
Good gracious. So we're coming down to a few minutes here before the end of our show. I know we wanted to touch on quickly the opportunities for investors, whether you're a new investor or you're a seasoned investor.
Yeah. So you want to flip homes.
Yeah.
Spokane's a great market to do it. But when you look at options right now, it's either you got the cash or you're talking to a hard money lender who wants 50% down, 29% interest rate, or whatever. This is an ability, we talked earlier, 15% down. You find that place that's in the right neighborhood. It's got a lot of square feet, but it's outdated. And maybe they're asking $100,000 for it. Well, we take one of these loans and do $50,000 to $75,000 in work. What's that house going to appraise for now in the right neighborhood, now that it's fully modernized? What we said earlier is we're changing the comps. So now this 1975 house that's never been touched isn't being compared to an appraiser to those homes. It's now getting comps to new construction because it's got all the new finishings. What's that house now worth? And yeah, you could flip it, sell it right away, maybe do 2 a year and make a little bit of money as well.
Man, I love it. I'm sitting, my mind's going. I'm thinking. Okay, I'm definitely getting the 1 minute wave here from our producer. Drew, I love what I'm hearing. I'm watching this. I want to get a hold of you. how do I get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my phone number to our office is 509-553-2221.
Okay.
You can find more information at movement.com as well.
Movement.com.
We've got a whole renovation section that goes over some more specifics, but reach out to a professional lender and a realtor who is familiar with the product. And just get educated. It's not for everybody, but it is a program that I think a lot of people are going to get excited about.
That's great. And folks, I always tell my clients, my buyers, oftentimes they'll call just one lender, they'll call their bank they've had a checking account with for 30 years. Call around, because some products are different and you may have this opportunity, but you don't know it because you're just maybe talking to one lender, one bank. So that's the advantage of talking to multiple lenders, and ask about renovation loans, and see if you can get more information on that. So Drew, thanks for being here today. As always, I learned so much just doing these shows. I could just sit here and just take notes, and this is awesome. So folks, thank you for joining us. Again, Ken Sax, Real Estate Talks, and we will see you next time.
Real Estate Talk is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask Ken a question, recommend a guest, and watch this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Real Estate Talk is brought to you by our friends at Spokane Association of Realtors. We wish you a great day.